The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Football fans, the time is now.
Give me a hell yeah!
For the football show you never knew you wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Broken Helmet.
And coming to you live on tape on this Thursday, August 28th, 2025. It is the best show you have never heard of. It is the Broken Helmet. Rich Eggy here behind the wheel. Chris on the other side of the glass, if you will, in the fake studio that we have. And if you want to get in touch with the show, you can reach us at brokenhelmetshow@gmail.com. and at Broken Helmet Pod on both X and YouTube. So, let's just get right into it because there was huge news and it's definitely worth talking about. It will have implications across the entire NFL season. But Micah Parsons is traded. He is now gone. He is packing up his bags and headed over to Green Bay to another NFC team. He will go there on a defense that has a little bit of talent as it is, an offense that has talent. I mean, a team that is definitely playoff worthy and now Super Bowl worthy, one would think. I don't know if a single defensive player on that team elevates them to that degree, but we're going to find out. It definitely is a shot to the gut to all Cowboys fans because that team is now infinitely worse without Parsons. So he gets a huge deal. They get I guess 2 ones or something is returned. I haven't opened up the story as of yet, but I'll do that now. Chris, initial thoughts on Parsons leaving Dallas and landing in Green Bay, similar to Reggie White landing in Green Bay and becoming a monster out there.
Yeah, so it's 2 firsts and it's a defensive tackle, I believe.
Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark went in the deal. I knew that.
Yeah. So, it's fine. They paid him $188 million, I believe, is what I read.
Huge deal. Yeah. I mean, that's the question mark, is that, was it too much? I don't want to say that Dallas made out in the deal. They did not, right? They lose their franchise player, but that's a lot of money to give somebody. Now, granted, the salary cap goes up, infinitely every year. It's just, I mean, you can make any contract work, but still, 136 in total guarantees, which is what I'm reading now, is a lot of money.
Well, I guess I don't understand how much the new money, I mean, I don't know what it comes out to $47 million, right, per year, but I don't know if that's what the average salary is or if there was money involved that makes it like a 5th year. Was it an extension or was it?
Well, no, this is a brand new deal. So I imagine he's just going to sign a new deal. I don't know if that's I guess one question is, do they rip up the old deal and this is year 1 of 4? Or does he
or is this year 5?
Right.
Or is it going to be year 5, right?
Or does he conclude the year of his contract and this just gets tacked on at the end? Regardless, right, you're looking at $120 million at signing.
$60 million in his first year.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shit ton. I mean, he gets $120 million fully guaranteed at signing. So, I mean, just signing bonus alone, it is $30 million a year. That's just signing bonus alone. And so, I guess $188 million is the top number. Whether or not he gets that, who the heck knows, right? But it's kind of similar to your Pat Mahomes, where this contract will probably just get renegotiated, and they'll tack on extra years and convert it to the salary into bonuses and signing bonuses, that is. And you see that tactic used quite a bit. And I guess his agent, and I was listening to this Dallas podcast, and I knew who his agent was, but I guess the agent also just got who just signed, who's the quarterback that signed for the most money in the offseason? Was it Hurts? No, Hurts was last year, right?
Purdy?
No.
Allen?
Did Allen sign in the?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
330 million or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, getting lost in the weeds here, but point is that this agent has both guys. So this guy is just a big balls fucking agent that just gets whatever his clients want when they want it.
All right, 2 fun trivia questions real quick. 1, who is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL on an yearly average salary?
Okay, hold on. Who is the highest average salary quarterback?
Yeah, average yearly.
By year. It's going to be somebody newer. Joe Burrow? Who?
I would have never guessed it. Dak Prescott.
Still?
60 million.
And where'd you pull that from?
I was looking at all the stats yesterday or the day before.
Highest average quarterback salary?
Yeah, couldn't
Still
believe
Dak?
it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I would question that, but again, here's the cap quarterback.
Second trivia question.
Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so total value, an average per year, 60 million. Yeah, over the cap, right there. Okay.
Yep.
Burrow was second, by the way. I'm so close.
You're close. Well, they're all tied for second.
Should have went straight.
There's like 8 people who are all making 55 million.
Yeah, there's a lot going down. Prescott, this is the average per year. Dak is at 60, Burrow 55. Same with Allen, Love, Trevor Lawrence. Then 2 is at 53, Goff's at 53, Purdy's at 53. So, man, a lot of money. A lot of money. Should have been a quarterback.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott also 32. Also, Joe Burrow's 29. Getting up there.
They'll never... Well, yeah, because he played during the COVID years. That's why he got those extra years.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, both 29 years old.
Josh Allen still has a lot of years left in him.
Yeah, I mean, they both do. But...
He won't continue to run like that. He'll start slowing down. But second trivia question. Can you guess how much money on a yearly basis Patrick Mahomes is making this year? Not what his salary, not what his the cap hit is for him, but what the salary is. Just salary alone.
I mean, I'm looking at over the cap right here, so I mean, I see his average salary.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, 45 million, right?
45 is with all the incentives and everything else. Like what he counts against the cap is what I'm saying.
I think that's his final column here. Oh, no, that's the fully guaranteed. So I don't know. I'm not sure. What is it?
It's like 1.25 million.
No, there's no way he counts just 1.25 million against the cap.
Everything else is like bonus money. It's like it's nothing. They negotiate the contract so that he gets paid nothing, and they just pay him out. Go look at it. Go look up.
Oh no, I'm pulling up right now. I'm pulling up Mahomes here, and I'm trying to see if they have his cap value. I mean, I'm sure they do. It's just cash to cap ratio. No, here it is, dude. 2025 salary cap charge is $28 million, which is just under 10% of the cap.
Hold on.
I mean,
then I'm misstating what the. I'm misstating what is like
right there.
Kirk Cousins. Where's Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins one? Oh, I mean, I don't know. We got to go back, and Cousins is right here. So Cousins' cap hit is 40 mil, but just over 14% of the cap.
That's stupid.
Yeah, well, they signed him at 36 years old last year, and they didn't play him. That's the craziest thing.
I'll find it, and then I'll read it to you. But let's move on.
I mean, look at Dak Prescott. I mean, he's eating up 16.5% of the cap at $50.5 million. That's why I think to bring this back to the Cowboys and to Micah Parsons, I think that's where you just have to say, Jerry Jones, I'm tired of Jerry Jones being said to be a great owner but a terrible GM. Jerry Jones across the board is just bad. He's a great businessman, but I don't think you can separate the owner and the GM, because at least in Jerry's case, it's all the same. And he's just not good. Like, he just botched this whole thing. And going all the way back to Jimmy Johnson and whatever argument they had at whatever restaurant or whatever the hell it was, and they got in the big pissing contest, and basically Jerry was like, anybody can coach this team, and they won that Super Bowl with fucking, what's his name from Barry Switzer. Like, ever since that firing, this member club has been an absolute disaster. They've won nothing. They make the playoffs, but then they never win anything. And they never really had a strong contending team. And throughout the whole thing, God, all the coaches that came and went, Mike McCarthy, and he went out and he got, I mean, if you think of all the drama around the Cowboys for nothing in return. I'm wearing the LT jersey here just because I couldn't believe the money that Prescott got, and I wondered what LT would have made in today's day and age. Do you know how much money he would have made? I mean, it would have been a jackpot. But
yeah, I mean, at his prime, sure. Yep, yeah, of course.
But look, Jerry didn't want to pay out Parsons. Jerry, he hired Bill Parcells, and who were some of the other fucking people that came and went? I mean, the Terrell Owens thing, and the Des Bryant thing, and paying Dak all that money when it was, I mean, everything this guy has done outside of building that unbelievable stadium that everybody rants and raves about has been an unmitigated disaster. He's bad as a GM, and I would say he's bad as an owner because his team just hasn't done anything. Yes, they're super valuable, and he's really rich. The businessman in him did real well. But I don't think being an owner and being a businessman is the same thing. But I'm losing you here, so let me pull you back in. So your thought, does it make Green Bay any closer to the Super Bowl?
No, absolutely not.
You know what? I'm kind of in the same boat.
But that's not why you do it. You do it so you have a better chance, let's say, to win their division against a Detroit who they know Goff doesn't do well under pressure, right? That's going to be their biggest competition. So why not go out and get the best defensive end in the game right now?
Fine, but you're also paying him $188 million. Why are you paying somebody $188 million if you don't think that he's the piece that gets you the Super Bowl? I mean, it is a lot of money. There's questions on both sides of this. I mean, from Dallas, they get nothing in return because those 2 first-round picks for Green Bay, who's going to be good, they're going to be low 20s. And if Green Bay ever wins the Super Bowl, they'll be 32. So those first-round picks are just dog shit. Kenny Clark's 30. Who cares?
I mean, I don't foresee Green Bay being as good as you think they're going to be.
Even without Parsons? I'm saying without Parsons, I thought they were a good team.
They're fine. I don't think they're better than Detroit. They're definitely going to have a tough time with Minnesota. Minnesota's good.
Minnesota, we don't know anything about J.J. McCarthy.
I don't even care. J.J. McCarthy
really?
J.J. McCarthy, that whole offense has nothing to do with him having to throw the ball 40 yards, 50 yards downfield. Like, he's just going to dump it off, hand it off to people, or dump it off to his players and let them do everything. He was fine in Michigan, dude.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, we still haven't seen him play a down of NFL football. I think it's a lot of question marks. I have tons of question marks about Minnesota. I think the 2 best in that division are easily Green Bay and Detroit. I have questions about Detroit, so I think I'd probably give it to Green Bay, and this probably pushes them over. Obviously, the wild card is Chicago, but until you see a year of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams under him, I don't think anybody really knows what you're going to get out of Chicago.
I think he's another one that if coached correctly and grows a little bit and doesn't do what everybody witnessed last year, which is trying to hold the ball too long or, make rookie mistakes, he has a lot of talent around him too. He's just got to dump it off to his players and let them do everything.
Is there a bigger wild card in the NFL this year other than the Chicago Bears?
No.
Right?
No.
They've got to be number one.
They could be Super Bowl contenders, or they could easily be 4 wins.
Yeah, they're across the board. I don't know if there's any other team I can think of that there's as much question as to what they're going to be at the end of this year.
Dude, their talent at wide receiver is they have Odunze, DJ Moore, Luther Burden. Then they have a first-round draft pick tight end, Colston Loveland. Cole Kmet, who's good. Cole Kmet wasn't bad.
He's a great – I mean, you have 2 tight ends. That's the point.
Right. He's serviceable. You have the number 1 generational talent at quarterback. And then you have – I mean, he was labeled as generational talent.
All right. I mean, labeled that way, yeah.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying he's generational talent. He was really good at USC, but I mean, he was a Heisman Trophy winner, wasn't he?
Did he win the Heisman? I don't even remember. Again, I'm not. I watched the college football playoffs and all that, but the rest of it, I'll follow the players with highlights, but I can't remember if he won the Heisman or not. I think it's probably safe to say he did. It usually always goes to a quarterback.
But ultimately,
I just remember him jumping into the stands and crying to his mom. That's what I remember.
You're such a dork. And then they have Swift and whatever trash behind that.
Johnson and I keep calling him Kylie Minogue, but he's somebody was pronouncing it the other day on the radio, and I finally heard how it was correctly pronounced. Minaj or something.
I don't even know who the guy is.
Yeah, he's the guy behind Johnson. So, but really weird.
Their talent isn't in their running backs. Their talent is all in their outs. So,
well, it's going to be whether or not Ben Johnson can do what he did in Detroit here. Well, there in Chicago.
There, yeah. By the way, I'm sorry it took me that long to find it, but his base salary for this year, Patrick Mahomes, is $1.25 million.
Oh, you're talking about his base salary. Okay, I could understand that.
That was the reference. That was the wording I missed.
Yeah. All right, that makes it a lot more digestible because that salary is what they could just chop up and kick down the road and convert into bonus and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Right. Like apparently Kirk Cousins is actually the highest base salary of anybody in the league.
I could see that. Can we, let's see. Now, you know what? If I try to do over the cap now and figure it out, it's just going to bore the shit out of both of us.
It's just a stupid
and anybody listening or watching to this. So we'll do it another time, but I'll believe you.
Crazy statistic that Patrick Mahomes is only getting paid base salary $1.2 million. Think about how much money he actually makes.
No, for sure. And I think that's been talked about because that's the plan, right? You sign him big. Because he signed the 10-year, $400 million contract.
$450.
Right? $450. That was his. And ever since then, they've been chopping it up, kicking the can down the road, which would be the argument for Micah Parsons here that Jerry Jones should have done last year. The only difference is you're not talking about a quarterback. You're talking about, an edge rusher.
How about Patrick Mahomes getting paid half his salary in Bitcoin?
Oh, did he do that too? Yeah. Well, I mean, it was Odell Beckham was the first cat that did that, right?
Maybe.
And Odell,
I think you're right.
Yeah, when he went to the Rams, I believe he had it converted to Bitcoin, and I think he's still holding it because it came up recently. I saw it on X, whether it was Darryl Rovell or one of these reporters had posted something, and it
doubled for Mahomes.
Yeah. Well, if I remember right with Odell, because I don't know when Mahomes converted it, but I think with Odell, people made fun of him because Bitcoin dropped originally, And they were like, oh, he just lost half of his salary because Bitcoin halved. And then all of a sudden it rocketed ship up, and, now it's...
So Mahomes went from making $450 million essentially to another, not double it, but, half of a double. So another $225 million, $675. He's making $675 million.
Well, that's the inflationary factor with everything other than pure paper dollars, right? Fiat currency just stays what it is. But if you look at all, and I talked about this with Zach Krantz earlier today, a friend of mine from 790 The Ticket, who's now at Backyard Breaks, and we were talking, it's just all of these like intangible assets and it's NFTs and, meme coins and Bitcoin and, Tether or Ether. And it's just everything across the art is going for crazy money. Sports cards right now going for crazy money. Any kind of collectible. I mean, people are getting tons of money for just any, like ticket stubs from the 80s. Vinyl albums, you name it. Just any asset that can have some kind of value attached to it that and is notable, right? I mean, it just can't take a piece of paper. It's got to be something good. But all of those have just flown through the roof because everybody's looking for stores of value, right? They're all trying to find the next digital gold, right? Which is Bitcoin was. But point being is that, Mahomes dumps his money into Bitcoin and away it goes. Some of these people could have bought all these. Have you ever heard about like these? What the hell was it? Crypto junks or crypto. Oh, damn it! I knew the name of it. But they're these little tiny pixelated heads. There's only 10,000 of them made, and it was crypto something. I forgot the name of it. Somebody out there in the internets knows what I'm talking about. But I think the current get-in price for one of these 10,000 right now is $230,000. And for $230,000, you just get this little digital file, this little digital head. It's like that. It looks like that big, and that's it.
Does it look like an '80s Nintendo?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
CryptoPunk? Maybe it's CryptoPunk. Maybe it's called CryptoPunk. But if you haven't heard about these, it's insane. I was listening to somebody that does a morning stock market show, and he had this guy on talking about this CryptoPunks, and he started going into like what could be the next meme coin and this, and then they were talking about NFTs and Bored Ape. Bored Ape didn't go well, but and then they brought up this.
Oh yeah, the ape.
Yeah, the Bored Ape thing, right? And so then they brought up this CryptoPunks thing, and then sure enough, here's it right here. These things. Have you ever seen these heads?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you start looking at these things, there's the marketplace instructions.
They're
and there
so
it is.
Expensive.
Look at this. Current lowest price punk available, $210,000.
They started out at like 10,000.
Well, not anymore. I mean, now this is it. This is all you can get in.
I remember reading about articles about this a year or two, maybe even more than 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Value of sales over 4 weeks, 50, I don't know what that means. Number of sales over the past 2,200, let's say 2,300 sales of these over the last 12 months. So there's 10,000 of these that existed, and not all of them is, might be one that got sold multiple times, but 2,300 sales of these things. Look at that.
Can't even do anything with them.
Dude, look at that. 23 million.
I don't understand why people just can't copy that, just remake it.
No, because I think it's attached to the digital fingerprint, right? Blockchain, all that kind of stuff. So that this is this.
No, I'm saying like how could this not be?
I mean,
hacked?
It's just nuts. 20 who so you bought this, you own this, you paid 23 million for it. The only value in it is the fact that you paid 23 million for it, and so I guess that makes it the most expensive there is. I don't know if there's any history behind 5822. That's crazy. So we've gone off the rails. Let's go back to the Packers here because we talk about fantasy and we talk about betting quite a bit. So betting wise, I'll bring it up here. Here's the new Super Bowl odds. And the Super Bowl odds for the Green Bay now is 1,200. I don't have the before, but it had to have gone up. I would imagine it was probably in the 2,000s maybe. Unless it didn't impact it at all. I would need to know the beforehand to know that. But now they are neck and neck with the Lions and 400 behind the Chiefs. Baltimore, in order, it goes Baltimore, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, and Green Bay. For those not watching on YouTube and following at home on the audio version of the podcast. Now, you were talking about their division, right? So let's go to divisions and let's see what's happening there. So let's get down to the NFC. NFC North. There you go. They are now at plus 165 to win the division. Lions at plus 190, Vikings at plus 340, and the Bears at plus 600. Again, Bears at plus 600. That's this kind of makes that an even bigger lottery ticket because I think the Packers, this kind of shores up at least their spot to the top. How did the Bears pull that off? But you never know. Again, because of the biggest wild card, Chicago at plus 600 for the NFC North is probably worth a ticket.
Ooh, 600?
Just for the odds alone. And I know that's a stupid argument because you could say anything is just for the odds alone on a long shot and they never come in. And then you're just like, yeah, I just wasted that money.
What are you on, FanDuel? Yeah.
This is FanDuel, yeah.
Green Bay's plus 650 to win the NFC now.
We'll go conferences here. And the conference is Green Bay in second place, like you said, at plus 600, just behind the Eagles at plus 380. The Lions at plus 650, I think, is a terrible bet. I don't like the Lions this year. And we'll get more into this when we get to our season-long bets before the season starts. But you do like the Lions?
From a perspective of fantasy, I think that, I think they're great. From a perspective of reality, they're going to have a really tough road ahead of them because of the amount of points they scored last year. Like, that's going to be really tough to duplicate. It is. They laid out their blueprint, and everybody knows it's very tough to continue on the path of doing the same thing over and over without defenses figuring out how to stop. And now they don't have Ben Johnson.
Well, no, because Ben Johnson is now with the Packers, and the Packers here are
not the Packers, the Bears.
Oh, the Bears. Sorry, yes. Now the Bears, on the other hand, where are the Bears? The Bears are probably not even close. But because we were talking about wild cards, if they ever did go on a tear, plus 2,000 for the NFC. So that's where Chicago lands. You know what? I bet because the Lions here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I think didn't I send to you via text I just thought I should have had this up and running, but maybe I didn't. The Claude page that I made.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, screw it. We'll just go. We'll do the Detroit Lions. Let's go ESPN, POW, and then teams. We'll just do it real quick here. So the Lions, because I think that schedule, we'll just go down real quick and see at Green Bay opening game. That's a loss, right?
For Detroit?
Yeah.
It's not cold. It's not cold yet. I think they'll win that game.
Oh, all right. So you're on the other end. I think they lose that. Home versus Chicago is a win. At Baltimore, a loss. Home versus home Cleveland, a win. At Cincinnati, at Kansas City. 1-1?
Cincinnati, 1-1.
1-1. Home Tampa's a win. Home Minnesota's a win.
Mm-hmm.
At Washington, at Philadelphia, 1-1.
1-1.
Home New York, home Green Bay, home Dallas, 3 wins in a row.
Yep.
At Los Angeles. Depends on
Win.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's a win, regardless.
Home versus Pittsburgh, a win.
Mm-hmm.
At Minnesota, at Chicago. 1-1.
Probably 1-1.
Right. So
What's that? 6 losses?
yeah, somewhere there. You're like between 10 and 8, I guess, depending on if you wanted to flip a game here and there.
That's playoffs.
That's playoffs. Green Bay, on the other hand, if you wanted to go to their schedule.
I'm sorry. I don't think Green Bay is going to win that division.
Home versus Detroit, I'll give them a win. Home versus Washington, I'll give them a win. At Cleveland, a win. At Dallas, I would say win, right?
Okay, so they're 4-0. Go.
Right. By the way, that Dallas Green Bay game is Sunday night NBC. That's going to be an awesome Sunday night game.
I know. Awesome.
Home versus Cincinnati, win.
That's a loss. Loss.
Wow. Okay, so you're going loss there.
What's the date?
It's after a bye week, October 12th.
It's still warm. They'll lose.
Okay, so you have 2 games on the road, Arizona and Pittsburgh. Split them? Win both? Pittsburgh game versus Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers plays big in Pittsburgh.
At Pittsburgh?
It's at Pittsburgh. Win the Arizona, lose the Pittsburgh?
I think Pittsburgh's pretty good, regardless of Aaron Rodgers. But
so do I. I'm giving Pittsburgh the win. But
yeah,
then I'm giving Green Bay the win versus Arizona.
Sure.
Carolina, Philadelphia, both at home. Beat Carolina, lose at Philly, or lose to Philly.
I think Philly, yeah.
At New York is a win. Home versus Minnesota, give them the win there. At Detroit, loss. Home versus Chicago, win. At Denver.
Loss.
At Denver and then at Chicago. 2 back-to-back.
Back-to-back losses.
Back-to-back losses. Home versus Baltimore, at Minnesota.
Loss. That's 4 losses in a row going into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that is a rough. I mean, if you're looking at the back half of the schedule,
holy shit, is that 4 away in a row? Oh no, they have Baltimore at home.
It's Minnesota home, Detroit away, Chicago home, Denver away, Chicago away, Baltimore home, away Minnesota. That's a rough. That's a rough way to go into the playoffs.
I'm sorry that.
You're hoping that winning. Like Chicago implodes and is just a terrible team, or Minnesota's a terrible team.
Detroit's winning that division, man.
I would say that putting those 2 schedules up against each other, I think that leans toward Detroit. I definitely do think that leans toward Detroit. So and
probably a 4 seed.
Yeah, and
maybe a 3 seed.
And to be honest, we could do the same experiment with the other 2 teams, but the NFC North, their schedule, all 4 of the teams, it's really rough. It's really tough.
So is the NFC East, I think.
NFC East, well, I don't know. I just know the Giants, and the Giants' schedule is atrocious. It's
horrific.
It's so brutal.
It's horrific.
So brutal. So I don't even consider the NFC. The NFC East is Phillies. Maybe Washington makes a little bit of a run. I looked at the schedule. I just think it's Philadelphia. The problem is that, and I talked about this on one of the other pods because I was looking at team win totals, and I did AFC. I had done maybe last week or the week before NFC and AFC, and then I compared it to what the Vegas over-unders were. And the real bad teams, I'm like really down on the bad teams. And then the good teams, I'm really high on. So my numbers at the polar ends are just ridiculous. I think I had Cincinnati at like 13 wins or something like that. And I think their over-under is 9.5. So, but anyway, that was the big news coming out of Green Bay. So that obviously impacts the Cowboys. It's a net negative for them. Positive for Green Bay. I don't know about the money. It's still a lot of money. But as we talked about with Pat Mahomes, you can probably just chop that up and just keep renegotiating the deal. Why would you want to let go of a Hall of Fame talent like Parsons? But that's what they did. And then,
can we pause for 1 second?
Okay, we'll pause and then we'll be back right after this. And we're back. So, as we were saying, Green Bay positive, Dallas negative. The odds obviously ticked up a little bit in favor of Green Bay there on and FanDuel and the rest of the wager. I say FanDuel, but operators in the wager sphere. And it was funny because do you follow You Better You Bet by any chance?
No.
You Better You Bet is a wagertainment show hosted by Nick Costas, who's been around for a while now. I remember when I first heard him on Gil Alexander's Beating the Book. I think that was his podcast, and Nick was on that, and then he started his own thing. And he's had a show that's become very, very successful, and it's a very fun listen. I guess he was on today. I saw this on Twitter, but he was on the show and went through like 7 reasons why Jerry Jones would not trade Micah Parsons. Got off the air, ended the show, and then sure enough, Micah Parsons was traded. So it was very funny. But let's get to fantasy football here. We had a draft. Our league that I run, Chris is involved. I am involved. A bunch of our friends are involved as well. And we had that draft last night. 12-team IDP. The offense is broken up into quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers / tight ends, a flex, 3 D linemen or inside linebackers, mix mosh, however you want, 2 D-backs, and then a kicker. So how did you think that your team shaked out? I'm going to bring up the draft recap here so that everybody can see. But were you happy with the results of your team?
Yeah. The only thing I was pissed about was losing out on. I thought I was going to get Chase Brown in round 3.
Well, let's look at the team first. Let's go backwards before we get too ahead of ourselves, and let's pull up rookie here. And so here's how it lines up: Drake May as your quarterback, Cook and Swift in the backfield, Lamb, London at wide receiver. Your flex ends up being Worthy. Your defense ends up being Connor and Metellus at D-backs, Watt, Henley, and how do you spell it? Schweizinger? I swear to God, it's so terrible. I'm like Russo. I just can't pronounce these names. And then Fairbairn. On the bench, depth, you got Montgomery, Charbonnet, and Ollie Gordon as running back. And then wide receiver, you have Purcell, Coleman, and Luther Burden III. And then your backup quarterback is Dak Prescott, who you took around behind me. So you're happy with the build. Is there anything you don't like?
I wanted Chase Brown instead of James Cook.
Instead of James Cook, who was your first running back picked. And if we go back to the draft itself, when did that happen? That happened in round 4, you said?
Well, I wanted in round 3. I wanted Chase Brown, who went at the last pick of round 2.
So there was Chase Brown. You're in the middle. You're in the middle with me. So you had picked up Drake London, and then it flips around, and Brown goes at 12. Why didn't you take Brown instead of London?
Because I couldn't pass up. We spoke about it last week. I have too much faith in Drake London with no other talent on that team to catch passes.
Gotcha. So then Brown gets caught, gets eaten up, and then you're sitting there looking at running backs, and that's why you grab Cook.
No, I wanted Josh Allen.
Oh, you wanted Josh Allen. Okay. And then Allen goes at 3 to Tunas.
Yep.
And that did you in there. Now, he was the second quarterback taken. The first quarterback taken was done in round 1, which is the first time I've seen this, and that was Sir Todd Counselor for Turn Out the Lights grabbing Lamar Jackson. So Jackson he grabbed, and then he actually wrote in the chat, throwing up a change or something like that. And I was like, wow.
It's been years outside of the Superflex league I'm in. It has been years since I've seen somebody take a quarterback in round 1 in a snake regular, one quarterback league.
Gotcha. Well, going back to your round 3 here, it goes to, it fits your profile that you would be hunting Allen because you go for Allen every year. Although I asked you in a podcast prior if you were looking at Allen, you said no.
I wasn't looking at Allen. I was looking at Brown, and when I lost Brown, I couldn't pass up on the value of having Josh Allen in the third. So I was going to take him, but he wasn't my ideal situation. Then I was stuck between Cook and Kyron Williams, and I wound up going with Cook because I'm very nervous about what that team looks like without a Matthew Stafford who could be out at any moment.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is probably the other wild card. Well, that would make the Bears and the Rams the biggest wild cards going into the season because you don't know what you're going to get with the quarterback in the Rams, and then you just don't know what you're going to get across the board with the Bears. So, yes, that does have downstream effects with Williams, with Devontae Adams, with Puka. Where did Puka end up going? He ended up going 10. Budhounds grabbed him. Perfect Budhound pick. So, talking about your team, you wanted Brown. That kind of sent you down this different path, and you landed with Cook. Cook, you ended up taking over Kyron Williams, but you were going to take a running back in that third round. So locking you up with, two wide receivers and then one running back.
Yeah, I figured if I was going to take anybody on the Bills and I couldn't get Allen, I was going to go with at least a piece of that front line there.
Was there anything else in your team that you didn't like or anything that rocked your world in the middle of the draft?
I settled on DeAndre Swift, although I wanted Patrick Mahomes, but Taint's team he got me in so many different.
Yeah, you had said that after the draft that he had snuck you for a couple players.
Yeah, I mean, he got Chase Brown. I was going to take Chase Brown. He got Patrick Mahomes when I was going to settle on Patrick Mahomes because I drafted Xavier Worthy, and then going down the draft board here, get to Pearsall in round 7. That was I was pretty happy about that, but
yeah, he would have been my pick. I was going to grab him, and then you drafted him. So then I changed, and I went to Mbuka.
Back to round 8, I figured I was going to grab a third running back, and you grabbed JCM in front of me.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice snag. I was happy with him there.
Asshole. So I did that. I settled on grabbing TJ Watt. He's just too good to pass there in round 8.
Yeah, I was surprised that you went to defense at that point when you told me that you were looking at JCM.
I rarely go. It was just I saw him on the top of my queue, and I was like, all right, I'll just grab him now before somebody else takes him. And then I got Keon Coleman in the 9th round, which I thought was great because he could turn out to be wide receiver 1 in Buffalo, which it's hell of a value.
Yeah, that was a good pick. I was looking at him.
Almost a double-digit rounds. Then we go to round 10. I had, the idea of starting to continue on with defense, and then defense kept going. I was going to
happens every year. Every year that you do IDP, when somebody starts grabbing defense, everybody follows suit.
And I was like, okay. I was like, no one's going to grab. They already grabbed the top of the IDP. I'll start in the double digit rounds in round 10, and then more of a win. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to go on this trend. I'm not going to play this game. So I wound up getting Zach Charbonnet. However, I was waiting. I did not want to bite on Rashee Rice. I have Xavier Worthy. So I figured, no one's going to want Rashee Rice. The news came out today that he's getting suspended.
Right, for 6 games.
Well, it's 7 of the first 10 weeks because they also have a bye.
Gotcha.
And I was like, no one's going to bite on this. There's no way. And I was like, I said it to myself, kind of like, all right, round 10, right? I'll wait till round 10. And freaking Corky took him at the end of round 9. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I remember when he drafted him. I actually had him not in a queue, but I was looking at him, and I was like, man, the way that I have my team built here, maybe if it comes back around me the next time, maybe I'll grab him because that would probably be good value in round 10. And then Carroll's grabbed him, and I said, all right, well, there does that, so forget
The
it.
problem is with suspended players, you lose a roster spot for 7 weeks. Like, you're done.
But it's a long-term play. You're grabbing Rashid Rice there because you're going to stash him until week 7 and hope that he rides out the rest of the season. And then you've got yourself a starter that late.
Yeah, but that only works if you've played the game to the point where you plan your buys out. You make sure you don't have too many buys. You're praying that there's not too many injuries that you need to. We only have 6 bench spots, 7 bench spots. So
yeah, well, it works if you have the rest of the team. If you go to Carroll's now and look at the rest of his team, so you have Rice on the bench for 6 weeks, 7 of 10, right? Because they had the bye, you said. So he's going in with Burrow, Genti and a chain, Adams, McMillan, and Waddle as his 2 wide receivers plus the flex. So Waddle can move into either spot. And then you go to the bench, and then he's got Stephon Diggs, and then Rice is just sitting there. So he's going to go back and forth with, any combination of Diggs, Waddle, McMillan, and Adams as the wide receivers in the flex. Maybe he gets something out of Njoku. I'm not sure. Maybe Ray Davis, probably not really. But, the way that he has it built, that's how you would do it because you're going to sit on Rice, but you know that you have wide receiver and other flex points there. Now, whether it pays off, I don't know. I'm not big on Waddle, so I do not want him. Diggs I have in a couple of leagues, but I question whether or not he's going to be a big fantasy performer.
I think he's going to be short area targets. He'll probably get a lot of receptions, just not a lot of quality yards.
Yeah, but that was his spot to take him, and he was aggressive and grabbed him in 9. So,
yeah, I finally settled on a quarterback in round 11. That's the longest I've waited for a quarterback in a while. Nobody was touching him. It was round after round after round. Nobody was drafting quarterbacks anymore. I couldn't believe it.
Well, we discussed that because I was looking at Dak, and Dak was going to be my starter, and then I did not understand why. Because you had a quarterback already, right? Dak's not your starter.
No.
Dak's on your bench.
Dak's my starter. I just don't want to start him against Philadelphia, at Philadelphia.
He was your first quarterback picked or no?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I was looking at Dak, and I had fully set. And then I grabbed Caleb Williams, and that was probably that was the pick of mine that I liked the least. And I got caught. It was like the Giants when they got caught by the Bears when they drafted Leonard Floyd and then they drafted Eli Apple. I just didn't know what was going on. I was completely lost. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't think that you were grabbing Dak there. And then I ended up grabbing Williams, which I did not like at all, which is why the following round I grabbed Jordan Love. Well,
you grabbed 3 quarterbacks.
I did. Well, I had to because I just didn't have, because later on, Trevor Lawrence is sitting there, and it stacks, right? Because I have Brian Thomas. To look at my team, comparatively speaking, I ended up going with, I've got Lawrence in there, even though my first pick at QB was Williams. But I did Barkley and Harvey, Brian Thomas Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then I've got Mike Evans. So that rounds out my offense. On the bench, I've got Tyrone Tracy, I've got Mbuka, JCM, Matt Golden. I went all offense. Javonte Williams. If there was a starter there, I grabbed him. Right? Tyler Warren was. I don't have any defensive bench players. Some of these guys are going to have to get cut. But I just grabbed as much starting talent as I could because I figured, you know what, I'm gonna field the best team as time goes on, and then if I need to trade something, I guess I can. Because with everybody else going defense, I'll just have a lot of my bench, and maybe there's a flip to happen later. Now that rarely ever happens because usually with trades, you never get a good deal. But then I filled that out on defense because I waited all the way to the end. I got Campbell, linebacker, Boza, and Cooper. The Cooper thing, now I'm a little questionable about it because he's already splitting stats with Quay Walker, and now they're going to have Parsons coming in. So, but, we'll have to see how that plays out.
I had Cooper in my queue to be picked when you took him.
Yeah, he was sitting there, and I liked Cooper more than Walker. So I was happy to pick him up, but now today I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit. So
Nobody even knows the linebackers I took. That's why I took them.
Well, I couldn't pronounce their names. You just heard me try. So that was the way that I went. And when it happened, we were sitting back to back at 5-6. So that was our draft positions. I ended up taking Barkley. It was between Barkley and McCaffrey. I decided to go with Barkley instead of McCaffrey because of the injury concerns I had with CMC. So I didn't want to throw the dice.
I had Gibbs picked.
Oh, I knew. I said to Rob when we were sitting there, I said, my brother wants Gibbs.
I couldn't believe he took him. I could not fucking believe he passed on CeeDee Lamb. I couldn't believe he passed on CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, when he grabbed him, I go, my brother wanted Gibbs, not a doubt in my mind.
Threw off my entire draft.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna go hero running back, and I was gonna go running back, wide receiver, quarterback. That was my plan going into the draft, and it threw off everything.
I was frustrated because I wanted Lamb. Now, I didn't think Lamb was going to fall to me there, but I knew that you wanted Gibbs, and so I was kind of banking on Rob maybe grabbing McCaffrey, right? That was probably the only thing that he could have grabbed. So
I thought McCaffrey. I thought it was going to go Bijan. In whatever order, I thought it was going to go Bijan, McCaffrey.
The top 5 are usually always the same. It's usually Chase, Bijan, Jefferson, Gibbs, and Lamb are usually the top 5.
Gibbs is not in the top 5 usually.
Really? All the drafts that I've been a part of, Gibbs has been in the top 5.
Barkley's ADP is like 2 or 3.
I have seen Barkley go exactly where he went here, and that was like in the 6 to 8 range.
Oh, in the other drafts that I was doing, he's been top 5, and so I figured, and so has McCaffrey's been
Yeah, he's been on a skyrocket.
Shit. Yeah. So I thought for sure the 3 coming in at 5. I thought the 3 quarterbacks and Bijan, the 3 wide receivers and Bijan were going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised that you were shocked by that. I was not shocked by that. I was just hoping that maybe CD fell to me, but he didn't.
Well, it was between CD and Barkley, and I was like, I don't want Saquon Barkley. Coming off 500 touches last year.
Yeah, I would have. I don't know. In hindsight now, I'm kind of okay with Barkley. I don't like the touches, that he came off of last year because, wow, pause, that was awful. But he had, it's that crazy stat where they just get hurt the next year. So with him available, I had a little bit of question, but I couldn't go McCaffrey because he's got more questions for me. So I said, screw it. We'll go with Barkley. There's nobody else there that I really could put up in that point potential range as Barkley.
Not in the first round.
No. So, and then I flipped over because I didn't want to do 2 running backs. I was looking at Bucky Irvin. I thought about him, and I was like, wow, Barkley and Bucky would be a great backfield. But I know from doing all the drafts now that your wide receivers are just going to be punished if you don't grab at least one in the top. So that's why I ended up going with Brian Thomas Jr. And then later on, that's why I grabbed Trevor Lawrence way late because he was sitting out there, and I figured, you know what, I'll give myself options with quarterback, and I'll just take 3. It's a lot of quarterbacks, but whatever. And so after that, I stuck with my focus on wide receivers, JSN, followed by Mike Evans. The Mike Evans pick, I looked at everything. I just didn't know where else I could go there. I considered Xavier Worthy, who you grabbed right after me. I was hoping McLaurin would have fallen because the 2 guys I wanted was Henderson and McLaurin. And because Henderson I would have played at the flex, McLaurin I would have played at wide receiver. Yes, there's a little bit of question because he was there. But, well, Evans is just so old, man. I love him, and he's great, but he's just old. I mean, he's kind of like Tom Brady now, just defying odds here. But eventually, there's going to be the year that he just doesn't get it done. I know it's going to be the year that I draft him, which is this year.
It was last year. Last year, he didn't get it done until freaking Godwin broke his ankle.
He was all right. You pick him up here, and these are obviously the numbers based on our league. He had the injury there, right? So 23, 2 shit weeks, 2 23s, 2 shit weeks, injury, comes back, and then he's got 11, 25, 10, 36, 11, 29, and 19.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a sporadic nature to his point production. However, it's still pretty solid, dude. And you don't know what happens in this gap here. So, needless to say, I decided, Evans is going to be my flex, so I can either put him in one of the other wide receiver spots or in the flex. And then I just went back to offense. I went back to running back. I grabbed Harvey and Tracy because I needed another running back. So I grabbed 2 back-to-back there. I was more than happy with Tracy, too, because he's a starter. I don't know what that line in New York's going to be like. That might be a bit of an issue.
I couldn't believe you took him in the 6th round.
Why? Well, who else was there? You like Montgomery. I don't, because Montgomery's got to fight. He's got to fight for totes. He's not the number one.
He's a bench player. I was just adding running back depth on the bench. That's it.
I would have taken Aaron Jones over Montgomery.
Fuck that. With him splitting carries with Jordan Mason, not a chance.
Well, you just have to look and maybe grab Mason later on. I just think Montgomery, best years are behind him. I don't know. I know you said it was depth and everything, and obviously
dude, he was running back 10
2 years
or
ago.
11. No. Last year, he was running back 10 or 11 before he had that injury in week 14. He was incredible.
There. You're looking at it right there. You're looking at 16, 17, 21, 15, 21, 8, 16, 12, 12, 24, 16. But
he was awesome.
I mean,
what week did he get hurt? Where is that?
16. Well, he got hurt in 15 versus Buffalo.
He got hurt in 15, which was the fantasy playoffs. But he was like running. They just said it on either ESPN Fantasy Focus or CBS or one of the pods I listen to. He was like running back 11 before the injury.
I know, but if you look, dude, it's tight. It's touchdowns, man. It's so touchdown heavy. Look, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. I mean, that's a crazy volume of touchdown.
Why wouldn't he get that this year?
I don't know. I just have questions of whether or not he can perform that again. No Ben Johnson, different offense.
How old is he?
I don't know.
Go to the top.
I don't think it gives his age here. He's probably, I would say 28-ish.
28-ish?
28, 29. I actually did. I could tell you in a second because I still have my trusty July draft book here that has the ages, and I did an age podcast a couple of things ago. But running backs, where is he? He's got to be one of the fading ones.
28.
You found it already? Okay, so 28 it is. Yeah, I was looking at these. Austin Eckler's over 30.
He is.
Miles Sanders is now 28. Miles Sanders and David Montgomery are the same age, huh?
Miles Sanders did not age the same as David Montgomery.
Yeah, no, not at all. Joe Mixon, who's not going to play this year now, it looks like, is 29.
He's 29.
He's 29, yeah. He's old. Joe Mixon is older than Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is 28.5 years old. They do point numbers, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Just two fractions. Anyway, nobody wants to hear age talk. So, yeah, I don't know. Montgomery, I was more than happy to take Tracy over Montgomery, and it was Tracy versus Jones. I don't know. Jones is a little old, so I was questioning the age thing there. So that's how I filled out my offense. And then after that, I just started picking off value. Ibuka there, JCM. JCM, I thought was going to, when he fell, I was just like, I got to grab him there.
I kept letting it go.
Yeah, I looked at him in round 7, but I was like, I don't know. I wanted Ibuka. I didn't have him anywhere else, and so everybody was still doing linebackers. Roquan Smith goes, Fred Warner goes, Foye, whatever. I just Bobby Kiriki. I mean, look at all these defensive players that people picked over top of the offensive talent that was still sitting there.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. So, and like I said, value from there on.
Oh, you, I didn't realize, I totally forgot you capped the running backs. So
I did that last year. It was well established. It's the only spot that's capped.
I'm refreshing my screen and refreshing my screen, and
Oh,
I'm
and it's
like,
not
what?
showing you the running backs.
I know, and I'm like, and I almost texted you guys during the draft because it was like, well, where was it? Where did I get?
Well, you look at it, and I'll explain here for the listeners at home that so in this league, every year I try to look to evaluate what trends might impact the overall competitive environment, right? And so last year, we used to run this league 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers or / tight ends. And I don't know, it just got to a point where it kind of threw everything off because people were grabbing running backs and you really needed wide receivers. And so that third wide receiver spot was like, it was tough to fill, but there were running backs that could fill, but you couldn't get them in because you only had 2 running backs slots. So I decided to convert the 1 wide receiver tight end into a running back. The only thing is that then that allowed everybody to kind of like pounce on running backs and bleed the talent pool dry. So I capped it, and I capped it at 5 with the thought process that you would have 2 starters, you could have a handcuff or even 2 handcuffs, and then 1 extra backup. So you would have 3 backups and 2 starters. Obviously, if somebody gets hurt, it goes to the IR. It doesn't count against your thing because they're on the IR. So I think it was a net positive in terms of the competitive impact. I didn't think there was any 2 negatives. I guess maybe you could have made it 6. Maybe you could make running back 6 instead of the 5.
Yeah, maybe.
But, and there's no cap to wide receivers and tight ends because there's just a ton of them out there. So who were you looking at when it screwed you up because you couldn't get an extra running back?
It was because round 14, I took Ollie Gordon, and so it was like all those rest of the rounds, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I kept looking.
Oh, I gotcha.
I was like, I don't fucking know what's going on. And by like round 19, I was like, oh, shit. And I recounted, and I was like, oh, I have 5.
Which is a question I have for you since we're talking about it. Ollie Gordon over Braylon Allen. When I saw you pick a running back, I was surprised that you didn't grab Allen.
It was between those 2.
Gotcha.
And I took Gordon because of all the news down here in Florida.
Yeah, well, basically, A-Chain's hurt, Wright's hurt, so, maybe he ends up being a starter.
Wright had surgery. He's out for a while. And A-Chain has a calf injury like Christian McCaffrey had last year. So it's you have seen zero news about it down here, which typically means there's more to the story. They just don't want to release the information until next Monday or Tuesday. When
that Dolphins team is an absolute disaster.
They're a disaster.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They have a ton of talent. They're just...
I don't know. They have a ton of talent. You look at that roster.
Bro, stop.
Oh, come on.
How could you... What? They have A-Chain, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right. We'll end it here because we're going to run a little long, but we'll bring up, let's do the depth chart for Miami. So here's a depth chart for Miami, right? So let's just go skill position wise. A-Chain, complete question mark because he's always hurt. He's always hurt. I mean, when he's played, he's been phenomenal, but he's always hurt. After him, you have Jalen Wright, now also hurt, and so you have Ollie Gordon. So there's your backfield. Tua, yeah, when he plays, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not, and sometimes he's concussed, right? So you have no clue what you're getting with him. And then when you go to the wide receivers, Jalen Waddle has been so fickle. You don't know what to make out of him and his career.
You're talking reality. You're not talking fantasy.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about reality. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it'll impact fantasy. Like Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was out there. You could have grabbed him. I don't know if I have Tyreek Hill anywhere. I might have grabbed him in one league because he was sitting there just staring me in the face, like maybe in the late to second round. But, do you want to put any of your eggs in this offensive basket? Like, A-Chain's the biggest gamble going round 1. You don't even know.
Not a chance I'm touching him.
Right? And for where Hill's going, I don't know what Hill's going to get either. I mean,
no, I'm not. I don't want to. I'll take these guys, but like I'll take Achane at like a 3rd round value right now. I'll take Tyreek Hill at like a 5th round value. I'll take Jalen Waddle at a 7th round value. I'm not going to take them at what their ADPs are, but they are talented players. They are. Tua Tagovailoa is not bad, but you're right. It's a scary situation. He could always be concussed. Devon Achane, any hit he takes, you're going to worry all year. Oh, is he okay? Is he okay?
Yeah, no doubt. I think somebody that you'll see get snagged on the defensive side of the ball is going to be Judon. Did they put him
their
here?
Defense, their front line of their defense is supposed to be really good.
Well, Chubb already got grabbed. He went. I think somebody grabbed Bradley Chubb. If not, he'll go too. But Judon was the other way. He just got signed. He didn't have a great year in Atlanta last year, but just a couple of years ago he was a stud.
What is it? Chubb and Phillips? Is that their top 2?
Yeah, Chubb, Phillips. Here's another, even the defensive side of this ball. Phillips was hurt that one year, was he not? And Chubb was gone last year or the year before. Which year was Chubb hurt? Chubb was hurt last year, right?
Last year, yeah.
And he was hurt earlier in his career when he was with Denver. So,
yeah.
I just, this Miami Dolphin team, this team could stink. And I think it's time for the whole Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel experiment to wrap up. I mean,
it will be after this year.
Yeah, that should be it. So anyway, I just going back to fantasy final thoughts. It went like I thought it was going to go. I was surprised that the defense went as early as it did, but as soon as it hit, it definitely trended, which is to come to be expected at this point. Obviously later in the draft, there was no running backs left, which is thematic across anything. You're just grabbing bottom of the barrel guys. Although, again, Najee Harris seems to keep falling, even though they said he's going to play week 1 and he might get a decent amount of touches. I've been surprised that all of that has impacted his ADP so much that he's just kept falling. I don't know.
Well, I forgot they have Minka Fitzpatrick too.
Yes. Well, they got him in the trade, right? Because the Steelers didn't want him. And fuck Minka Fitzpatrick for wrecking Nick Chubb's knee 2 years ago. That was just brutal. Such a dirty hit. But, all right. So, with that said, that was another fantasy draft in the books. I don't have a door slam, but I do have a lock in the books.
Nice.
And so now we are pretty much done with fantasy. We'll bring it up from time to time to see how the teams did, but ultimately the shift now will be toward wagering and gambling. So we'll have the wager shows coming up. We'll try to... Do you want to do 2 next week? And we'll do the season-long bets and our week 1 bets?
We could try.
I don't know your schedule. We'll have to figure it out. But next week you'll be getting, if not, maybe I'll do the season-long bets and you can shoot me what your season-long bets are. But we'll start up at this point doing our season-long contest. We give ourselves $10,000 fictitious wagering balance, and then we just bet into that and see what ultimately happens through 18 weeks of the regular season and into the playoffs, and whether or not we become profitable in the process. Last year, we both had good years.
Crushed it.
Last year was good. The years before, I know you've had better years than I have. I should have just been keeping track, but then after the year, you just kind of wipe it away. I think 2 years ago, last year I was positive. 2 years ago, I think I was positive like 2,000 or 3,000. I just bet it all in the Super Bowl, and I might have lost it.
I was up $6,000, almost $7,000 last year. I almost doubled my money.
Yeah, I don't remember where I landed last year, but I think I had you beat. I think I was ahead of you. So I have the sheet somewhere.
You weren't until like week 14, and then you went on a tear.
And then I went on a tear, yeah. So we'll get ready for that next week. In the meantime, you guys all enjoy your fantasy drafts and hope you pull in all the players that you want. We'll call it a wrap there. As always, thank you for listening. Hope you got a little something out of the show. If not, there's always next time. So, Chris, I will talk to you later. Everybody else, again, much obliged for listening. Peace.
Adios.